This is DigiVision Network.
We are still in October, which is the Cyber Awareness Month, and on this show, DigiVision Network, we promised to focus on issues that surround cybersecurity more throughout the month. And on the guest of the week, we have the founder and executive director, CyberSafe Foundation, Constance Stavely, who will discuss with us cybersecurity issues and what everyone should do to stay safe on the internet. Welcome to the show, Constance.
Thank you so much.
All right, so without wasting time, let's get on to it. Cybersecurity is a recurring issue these days, as awareness is also increasing as well. In your own opinion, what do you think the government can do to ensure a safer cyberspace for all?
One of the key things government can do is create policies that drive the right behavior, policies and frameworks that drive the right behavior, begin to organize stakeholders around the key issues in cyber safety. I think there's been a good head start with that. I mean, we've had the cybersecurity strategy launched by the president himself, which is a good sign. That strategy basically, charts a roadmap for the next 5 years of what Nigeria should do in a bid to enhance the cyber safety, and of course rally stakeholders around the mutual goal. So yes, that's been very remarkable as well. But we still need to do a lot of work around the laws, for example, around the laws around data protection as well. And I'm hoping that the government begins to take very practical steps around reviewing these things and making sure that we have the right structure that drives the right behavior, and investments are actually made in cybersecurity awareness. That's been a big issue, because while we can have the enterprises, have some sort of investment in ensuring that they have the right tools to protect our data, the day-to-day user of technology has a role to play in cyber safety, and they must know that what role they have and what they must do. So we have to begin to work towards government investing as well in cybersecurity awareness.
How best do you think organizations can protect themselves from cyber threats and attacks?
Okay, a very, very strong way they can do this is by proactively putting in place personnel and processes to ensure this as well. Personnel and processes to ensure this. So for example, organizations should have a threat intelligence expert on their team. But we have situations where a lot of companies may not necessarily have security teams. I mean, apart from the banks that are highly regulated, that have a full cybersecurity department, that has many other functions, we find that many organizations are at maturity levels that do not have these things. So some of them just have some IT guy that is doubling to do several other things. We need organizations to be intentional about having a threat intelligence expert on their team, and even subscribing to platforms that share threat intelligence updates. I mean, there are subscriptions that you can pay and begin to receive these updates per sector or generally speaking. So being able to plug into that ecosystem, having an expert on ground as well that understands and can begin to research the threat landscape, because it changes per time. It evolves a lot.
Thank you very much for that response. And lastly, what role do you think individuals can play in fighting against and guarding themselves against cyber criminals?
But one of the key tips I'll give anybody is cybercrime or cyber criminals usually play with people's emotions to be able to get access to this information. They might come from the angle of driving fear in you. And once you are afraid, you're no longer thinking logically. So they will rattle you maybe with something going wrong. They will say something has gone wrong, something is missing in your account, for example. Someone had just withdrawn money, someone had just been added as a beneficiary that you do not recognize. But all of these schemes or all of these lies are around rattling you to be afraid and wanting to take action without logically thinking. So I would advise for every single person, when you feel any extreme emotion, so when you feel extreme fear of missing out, fear of losing something, when you feel any extreme excitement, excitement of gaining something, of benefiting hugely, getting a huge return on investment that is that is abnormal,
Yeah.
ensure that you pause before taking any action. Stop, think before you act. So what I do is I disengage for some time, for some hours, and come back with fresh eyes and with my mind clear, and look at an email, whatever email is asking me to take actions promptly. You understand? And then that's the only time I come and reassess the situation. So it's important that you pause, stop, and think. And then you come back to that situation more logically.
I must thank you very much for your time. That was Constance Stavely, the founder and executive director of CyberSafe Foundation, talking to us about what governments, organizations, and individuals can do to be safe from cyber threats and attacks. And that's the show for the week. For details, please join us at www.dgvisionnetwork.com, or better still, subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/dgvisionnetwork. On behalf of the regular anchor Byra Gabi, thank you for watching. I am Gideon Tobiloba. Join us again next week. Bye for now.